What's up, yogis? You're in the machine. This is a quick flow, just a few minutes with brief, pretty intense holds. I like this vinyasa as a warm-up for other activities. If I'm hiking, going on a jog, shooting hoops, which you don't want to see. We'll finish with some core work and a few seated stretches. Let's do it. It's a quick flow, let's get to it. Let's find the middle of our space, feet together, looking for mountain pose, neutral pelvis, shoulders up, back and down, palms forward, chin off the chest. One really deep breath to get us going. In through the nose as much as you can. Move the back, the stomach, the ribs, the shoulders, whatever it takes to suck in a lot of air. One last sip at the top, and then a big exhale. Let it go. Let's try to seal the lips and use the nose for the rest of this practice. From mountain pose, we're going to take our left shoulder and pull it up. Don't jam it to the neck. Just bring that shoulder blade up as we reach over to the right. So one shoulder down, the other shoulder up. Moving the scapula independently, but still not jamming it into my neck. Side body stretch on the left. Down at the love handle and a little bit of the ribs in the lat. That's why we're lifting the shoulder. Let's bring it back to center and switch it out. Left shoulder down, right shoulder up, but still back. Don't jam it forward. And then an easy little lean to the left, stretching the right side body, getting those obliques, maybe that love handle if you got one. A little bit of the ribs. Try to move completely sideways and remembering to breathe the whole time. And then back to center. Let's bring the chest forward, back bending scapula together like an upside down swan dive. Lead with the chest, looking up to the ceiling, and we'll sweep the arms up overhead, stretch those pecs, hands meet, come down to heart center. Forward fold, hinging at the hips. And when you're down as far as you go, just relax, shake it out. Maybe bend the knees a little bit. Shake your head yes and no and maybe. Sweep your arms around, rock a baby, whatever you want to do. We're just warming up. Let's bring it up halfway. And then forward fold again. And let's bring it up all the way, one vertebrae at a time. Hands meet at the top, come through heart center, back to mountain pose. One more time with that stretch. This time we're gonna push our hip. So left shoulder up, right hand on right hip. And as I lean, I push my left hip to the left. Still keeping the scapula squeezed together. Even though the left one's riding up high, they're still flat across my back. Remember to breathe. Then let's switch it out. Left hand, left hip. Left shoulder down, right shoulder up. Leaning to the left as we push the right hip to the right with the left hand. Remember to breathe. You want some engagement of your stomach muscles, but don't lock them down so it's hard to get full breaths. Let's go back to center, hands to the side, and reverse swan dive. Lead with the chest. Make yourself tall, looking up, scapula squeeze together and down the back like your shoulder blades are jamming together at the spine, and then we'll sweep up. Meet hands at the top, through heart center, forward fold, hinging at the hips until the last second, and then just let it go. Remember to breathe. Relax your head, let it hang heavy, create a little traction in the cervical vertebrae with that giant heavy brain of yours. Let's bring it up halfway. Flat back, scapula together. Let's relax and fold one more time, and then one vertebrae at a time, bring it all the way up. Hands meet at the top through heart center, finding mountain pose. And let's start this little flow. We're trying to engage here and really warm up the legs. So a slight shift to the left. Right knee comes up in line with the hip. Engage the standing legs. Squeeze those right toes back as you stay upright with a neutral pelvis. And now, hands to heart center. Drive that heel back. Don't flare it out. Try to keep it directly in front of your knee or in back of your knee. Using the glute, not bending over too much yet. Now we'll bend that standing leg, step it back nice and easy. Find the proper width for a crescent lunge, really low. Don't just sink, but squeeze. Imagine pulling your back leg forward and your front leg back in a little scissoring action. Remembering to breathe. We'll sweep it down. Plant the right for an easy little twist, but don't drive the mat. Engage the front leg, maybe just fingertips for the twist. So much that you could take that hand off and you're not dumping into it. Really firing up the front leg. And from here, look forward, reach forward, plant the fingertips and shift it up, standing L. So the L is your legs, creating roughly 90 degrees and stretching the standing leg. Big hamstring stretch on the left. If you open it up, you lose the stretch. So internally rotate that right thigh. Try to keep your back up if you can, but remember it's a lower body stretch, so even if your torso is all out of whack, you want a right angle, 90 degrees or so, between the legs. Let's drop that knee to the back of the calf, Shiva Squat, hands off the mat, prayer hands, and let's step that right foot back, stretching the left hip. So I'm not breaking into that ankle. I'm keeping the foot active on the blade, the outside pinky toe side of that left foot, or the right foot rather, stretching the left hip. Try to keep the hips square. Feels kind of like a pigeon pose. You're just upright. And now we'll set that knee down all the way to our buns. Easy little twist. Both hands on the thigh, looking left. Remember to breathe. Really firing up the quads and working the glutes here. Easy little twist. Let's swing the left leg, plant the hands, plant the left leg, push up, let the right leg meet, press away, separate the scapula, tuck the tailbone. Feels a little bit like a cat movement. Engage the arms. A tight body is a light body. You'll find yourself easier to maneuver if your muscles are engaged. Much better on your back. And let's just find down dog. Feet are hip width, hands are shoulder width. Press back, looking for that upside down V. Remember to breathe. Now look at your mat and find a halfway point between your hands and your feet and jump your feet really wide to that point, wider than your mat. Left hand back, right arm up. Remember to breathe. Again, try to use your spine and the muscles around it for the twist instead of just this push. So it's almost like your hand could be floating and you're still twisting. Let's switch it out. Right hand down. Press away at first to get the twist. And once you're in place, engage everything. And maybe you don't even need the right hand, but you do need to talk. So get your necklace out of your mouth. Let's look down, reach down, walk the hands
back to the top of the space. And now let's finish the hop. Nice and easy. Load the legs, landing in a Yogi Squat. Nice and easy. Toes point out at least a little. Heels point in. Maybe you're up off the heels. It doesn't matter. We're trying to compress the hips and the knees. Pull yourself through. Remember to breathe. Looking for a straight spine, probably not a vertical spine. But if you want to try to get it a little more vertical, you could always counterbalance. Hang out here, catch your breath. Let's see if we can do it all again on the left side. Hands down, hips up, heel toe the feet together. Rise up nice and easy, one vertebrae at a time. Let's find mountain pose. Shift a little bit to the right, left knee up, in line with the hip. Peel those toes back. Everything's engaged. We're really working here. Not holding it too long, so you don't have anything to save your energy for. Remember to breathe. Hands heart center. Kick that left foot back. And don't flare the knee. Try to keep the heel right behind the knee. And now we'll bend our knees. Step that left foot back nice and easy. Find the width you like. And crescent lunge. Remember to breathe. Sweeping it back. Plant the left. Press and reach the right. And again, not trying to dump into this shoulder, so I may even kind of lift this hand away or just use the fingertips, making my front leg do some of this work. Remember to breathe. Light in the left hand, but still twisting. Let's look down, reach down, shift it forward, hands forward, finding that standing L. Remember, the L is the shape of the legs. So internally rotate the thigh, peel the toes back, looking for an L shape, 90 degrees or so. Remembering to breathe. And let's bend the front leg, tap the right knee to the calf, hands up, little Shiva Squat. Try to straighten the back, big work of the right quad, and now step that left leg back, stay bent in the front leg, bring the chest up a little bit. We're not totally falling over or we lose this stretch. Engaged left ankle. Remember to breathe. And let's bring that left foot down. Left knee down. Sit back. Easy little twist to the right. Both hands at the thigh. Looking behind us. Remembering to breathe. Starting to warm up. Legs might be a little shaky. That's okay. Just means this is working. And let's swing the right leg. Plant the hands. Plant the right foot. Push up. Left foot meets. Let's hold this plank for just a few breaths. Pushing up. Separating the scapula. Neutral pelvis. Engaging the core, engaging the arms, engaging the quads, everything's working. For 3, 2, 1. Finding down dog, nice and easy, push back. Even though this is only our second down dog, you may find yourself pretty deep in it because we've done so much work to get blood into the legs. Remember to breathe. Nice and warm now. Slightly more intense hold, so you don't have to go through several times before we stretch. Let's identify that halfway point. Bend the knees. Hop out wider than the mat. Land nice and easy. Left hand down. Push and twist. Once you're in the twist, see if you can hold it without the pressure of that left hand. It's just there to kind of align us, but not to dump into. And let's switch it out. Right hand down. Press it. Left arm up. Still keeping the shoulders off the ears. And once you're in the twist, maybe you don't need that arm. Maybe just the fingertips. Maybe just a couple of fingers. This is where we start reaching across to add to the twist, because it's not under so much tension. But we'll do that another time. Let's reach the hands forward, back to the top of the mat. Let's find that Malasana Yogi Squat. Settle in. Put your toes out as far as they have to be. You'll find that as you get more compression, they don't have to be out quite as far to fit your body down in between the thighs. Hands at heart center. Remember to breathe. Vertical or straight spine, probably not vertical. Trying to bring the scapula together again, not totally hunched over here. Let's bring our hands to the mat and our hips to the sky. Nice and easy. Let's heel toe the feet in hip width. That's about 2 fist distance. Let's flatten the back. Find the peace sign fingers. Hook them inside the big toe. Cap it off with the thumbs. Back is still pretty flat as we pull and then round. Remember to breathe. Let your head hang heavy, pull down and back like you want your body between those legs. Engage the quad, shift a little weight forward, pull in with the biceps, not the shoulders for 3, 2, 1. Let's bring it up halfway, flat back again. Going for gorilla pose, palms under the feet. Try to get the toe tips to the crease of the wrist. Flatten the back again if you can, and then pull, let it round, elbows point out, head is heavy, engaging the quads. If this is deeper than you can reach, find another grip. But try to keep the legs straight if you can. There are modifications there if you have like weird things going on with your sciatic nerve. But it's better to have straight legs and only go down part way than to have bent legs and be really low, because that alleviates the stretch. And we really want to stretch here. Remember to breathe. Inhale for tension, exhale for depth. Let's remove the palms. Bend the knees. We'll find a quick chair pose. Knees in front of hips, buns back, look down. Can you see your toes? That's cool. Try to have a straight back. And from here, any way you can, find a seat. Nice and easy. Let's cross our feet. Left over right or right over left. Just keep track. Bring those knees in and straighten your spine. Straight as you can get, your head directly above your tailbone. Almost feels like a bit of an arching. With any grip you want. Maybe you're reaching all the way across. Maybe you have a palm to palm. Maybe you're in prayer. But this is setting us up for this boat pose. So let's start by just leaning a little and picking up both feet. Hands can go where they need to. If you're really wobbly with this, maybe put a hand back. But try to keep your spine straight and engage the core. Your hip flexors and your transverse abs are doing this work, but imagine using more abs than hip flexors. Let's set it down and switch them out. Whichever one was on top goes on bottom. Back balancing on that tailbone. If you got a little flat spot at the top of your butt like me, this is kind of easy. If you want more of a challenge, squeeze the knees together and start to bring the heels higher. If you really want to do a cool boat pose, straight back, straight legs, point those toes. You can move a little bit, but try to use the abs, not the hip flexors. It's not easy to do. Just imagine absorbing more of the hold with your stomach and less of those psoas muscles. Let's keep the position, but bring it in for a break. And if you're really a Hot Wheel, maybe grab the outsides of your feet and pull them out, kind of like a upright, happy baby. If your hammies will let you, straighten those legs and peel those toes. Keep leading with the chest. Keep engaging the quads. And again here, just because I'm holding the feet doesn't mean that's doing all the work. I could let go of the feet and keep the position because my core is engaged. This grip just gives me a little bit of a break. Here's one if you're in position that you don't try on a hardwood floor unless you want sore heels. Grab those toes, peel the heels back, and fall forward using the calves as the buffer, not the heels. Oh, I did it. You'll know right away if you didn't do it because there'll be some pain in the back of your heel, but that's okay. That's what you have a mat for. Let's relax. Feet together, upright, forward fold, starting with a flat back. When you max it out is when you round and find a grip, any grip. Even if you're way up here, maybe it's the toes, maybe you're all the way behind, pulling forward as you fold toward the legs. Let the head be heavy. Any grip you want. Eventually, maybe you're laying on those legs. That's when we open them to put our body between, but we'll do that next time. You may wiggle your buns out from under you a little bit so there's no bind at your seat. And remember to breathe. Now this is a spot where our hips are directly aligned to the front and we can't absorb any of the hamstring tension by lifting one hip. You'll find that when we back out nice and easy and do one leg at a time, we can absorb some, and almost always we go lower. So let's bring that right leg in, leave the left leg in front of you, not out to the side. Face it just a teeny bit, like a couple degree turn, and now fold. You'll probably find that as that right hip pulls back a little, it alleviates some of that tension in the left hamstring, and you can go quite a bit lower. Great stretch for the low back, for the hamstrings, a little bit of the calf. Keep pointing those toes up and peeling them back for 3, 2, 1. Up nice and easy. Switching it out. Left foot in toward the groin. Right foot straight out in front of you. Tiny little turn, couple of degrees, flat back as we fold on the exhale. Finding any grip. The grip doesn't matter. It's not about getting low, it's about stretching. So if you gotta contort yourself to be low, you're missing the point, man. Just find your stretch. And it's the same. In these folds with this tension, we try to inhale and pull a little more, and then exhale and relax a little bit for depth. Engaging the quad helps to stretch that hamstring. Feel it in the low back, the hammy, some of the calf for 3, 2, 1. We're going to finish off with some adductor stretches and a little bit for the hips. So first off, butterfly stretch, cobbler's pose. Bring those feet in as far as you can, even if that means rocking your buns toward them a little bit, toward the heels. Lots of different grips here. I like to grab all 10 toes and then all 5 fingers and then lean forward, leading with the chest. Hard muscle to stretch because the adductors are really tight because their job is like keeping the legs under you. And if you need to, push with your elbows. Alternate pushing with your palms. Just remember to breathe. Settle in. The vinyasa, the movement portion of the yoga class, not only makes you do work in extended muscle position, but it also warms you up to stretch really aggressively afterwards. So if you're looking for real flexibility, this is the time to get it. Press pause and stay in this for 20 minutes if you want. Unless you're in pain or you're feeling numbness, you can't overdo a stretch. The more time that muscle spends in a new range of motion, the more the nerves get used to it and the more flexible you become. And now nice and easy, let's pull ourselves back from those heels. Extend the legs out. I like to stick one heel and drive the other. It helps to kind of open those adductors. Peel the toes, back externally, rotating the thighs slightly. Leaning forward, maybe you're barely forward, maybe your palms are down, maybe your elbows are down. Once you've really set the stretch, you can start to relax your back a little bit, but don't round it before you've set the stretch. And remember to breathe. Not very yogic, but these are spots you can check your messages, play your word games, text your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever you got going on. Sometimes doing things to distract you from the stretch help you stay in it. And I know that's not very yogic, but that's okay. Usually find that as you stay in this, you get a little bit lower and a little bit lower. Maybe your head's down, maybe you're grabbing the feet. Remembering to breathe. Nice and easy. Let's come back up if we're down and push ourselves away from the stretch. Stack our legs to stretch those hips. Doesn't matter how you stack them. Maybe you're in like this really tight, screwed up half lotus. As long as you're feeling the stretch and it's not bad for your knee, then you can lean in. If you can stack the shins, I like to put my foot right barely on the inside of my thigh. Peel both toes. Lean forward. However your legs are folded, you should really be feeling a stretch in the top hip. Bottom hip too, but it tends to be in the top hip for me, usually because that leg is slightly higher in the stack. Leaning forward with the chest. Once you're max, you can round. Maybe you're all the way down. Maybe you got cool prayer hands. Great stretch for the hips. Giant joint, lots of muscle and nerve in there to stretch, so it can take a while. Let yourself kind of melt into position. Little bit lower with each exhale. And it doesn't matter what your crisscross looks like as long as you're feeling the stretch. Remember, you might be one of these guys or gals that's way the heck up here, barely leaning forward. It should still be a stretch. Let's switch it out. If you have the left on top, left goes on bottom. Line it up the way you like. Lead with the chest as you lean forward and exhale. Probably more intense in the top hip. If you have the room, maybe a little movement. Should feel like a pigeon pose without the stretch of the straight back leg. Remembering to breathe. The only thing that's not an option at yoga is breathing. Probably you'll find one side tighter than the other. Just means you're normal. Exhaling to let go. And when you're even on both sides, up, nice and easy. That's a quick flow, one time through. You can do it more times if you want, but the poses, the positions are intense enough that usually one rep through, one rotation gets enough blood flowing to stretch or to get you ready to do whatever else you want to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find these videos useful, and ring the little bell to keep in touch. Namaste.
But the whole point of the machine is to relieve you of that suffering.